How would you describe this book which is coming up, Selma?
Okay, I think it started with my story because I felt I had a story to tell, being always a diaspora Goan. And then when I started the book, I started talking to other people. And ultimately, it's become a community project, bringing the stories of several Goans spread across the diaspora and just against a historical sort of background. And so that's the overall concept of the book.
And what all does it contain?
It starts with the social and economic factors which sort of heralded the migration in the early 19th century, and then it goes into it deals with aspects of Africa and our seamen, who I feel are the genesis, the two main components of the Goan Catholic diaspora. And then, of course, a great section of the book is about the Arabian Gulf. And then, of course, the African diaspora emigrated to the new diasporas of the UK, North America, and Canada.
So what's the most unusual story you came across while, putting the book together?
There were so many unusual stories, really. There was the story of Murumbi's father.
That's the former vice president of Kenya, who was half Goan.
Who was half Goan. How Murumbi spent quite a bit of his childhood in India. And but to me, the story of his father, who was Peter Suzar, was more interesting than the Murumbi story itself. Then there was the story of the wedding in Malawi, which ultimately resulted in the expulsion of the Goans community in Malawi, and their takeoff, their arrival in the UK.
So the wedding was, it was an insult to the then president, or seen to be?
To the then president.
Hastings Banda.
Hastings Banda, yes,
okay.
That's
okay.
right.
Okay.
And there's just so many interesting stories that haven't been told, that haven't really been put down on paper. And one of the interesting things that happened in the process of writing this book was Anthony Remedios, a person that I made contact with, and he gave me a background of his involvement in sort of fighting for the liberation of Goa in the 1950s, late 50s, early 60s. And he passed away before the book was completed. And for me, it felt like an untold story had passed away. And I was glad that I'd gotten his story before he passed away. And when I put a little extract of the story on Goan Voice UK, I actually had feedback saying, we lived during this time in the UK, but we never knew that there were Goans involved in the liberation movement. So I think there are a lot of untold stories in the diaspora.
Since you're based in UK, a lot of the archive work you did was based in the UK itself.
Yes,
it took a lot of time.
It's actually very interesting that the British kept records not only on their own colonies, but other people's colonies as well. I mean, obviously they had dealings, but they also kept they also kept their opinions. And the interesting thing about records and all the correspondence that's at the National Archives is it's filled with their personal opinions. So we really get a sense of how the British viewed Goans. And I think that's an aspect of our history that's not been thoroughly explored, is the relevance of the British Empire on Goans, at least in the diaspora.
In terms of spending hours in the library, did it take a long time? Because you've dug up so much.
It did. It took the two main sources in London were in fact the British Central Library and the National Archives, and of course the Times. The Times had a lot had a lot of information, and the Times thankfully have a lot of the information archived going back to the 18th century.
I see.
So it was endless visits to the archives in the cold, but I thought it was interesting. I used to get up in the morning and look forward to going to the archives because I knew I'd read something about Goa which I didn't know previously.
I
So
see.
to that extent, it was very interesting.
But with such a large scale, I mean, migration has a huge impact on Goa. Why hasn't it been studied so far? Except maybe say studies by Stella Mascarenhas-Keys
Sure.
and one Mr. Pinto writing in the 60s.
Sure.
Very few studies, maybe Teresa Albuquerque
Sure.
on
Sure.
Kenya Goans, but very few studies.
Sure.
Why do you feel it's not?
I think on one hand, a lot has been written about the migration. It hasn't made its way onto sort of formal stories, formal writing of history. One reason could be, or perhaps possibly the reason, is that it's not commercially viable for it to be studied by, written or published by big publishers. So that could be one reason why we've not had the exposure that we rightly deserve.
Yeah. It's a huge story and difficult to tell also.
Yes, it's massive. So it can only be told in parts.
Yeah.
And it can only be told either as a micro story or using something as a backdrop. But to try to cover the whole thing in one book would be sort of a magnum opus kind of.
So did you feel daunted by the task at any stage? Or
No, because I was concentrating more on my stories, and then whatever the three sections. This is my daughter who's just come. Bobby, can you go to Rohini? Can you ask Rohini for some water? Oh no, Mommy.
Fine, it's fine. Carry on.
Mommy? Mom?
It's fine. Yeah.
So
you didn't feel daunted in that sense.
no, because I knew the limitations that I would expose onto myself.
Thanks so much, and here's wishing you all the best.
Thanks.